that day, and then we'll start with this week's progress. Now, before we start, there's actually something that I'd like to explain. So the process of learning gets very easy for you guys. There are four stages. Um, just give me one moment. She's unable to speak. There are four stages of learning something. The first stage is where you're unconsciously incompetent, where you don't know um, what exactly is it that you have to perform. You're not aware of the subject that uh, you need to study, or you carry no knowledge of whatsoever you have to do. For example, the person who made a chair for the very first time did something incredible, because uh, he just did not have to build a chair from scratch. He actually had to first visualize a chair and then implement on that idea and make a place to sit. Because after that, every other chair that was made, it is made on the same benchmark where it has four legs and it has a sitting capacity of a person. So when there was no chair, everyone was when it comes to, this is just an example, everyone was unconsciously incompetent. They didn't even know what a chair is. So that is where everyone starts. As humans, we don't know anything, and eventually we learn things, and then we bring betterment into our art or our skill set. The next stage is consciously incompetent, where you come to realize, or where you're able to see that you are unable to perform any task. If you are a beginner at any game, um, the first thing that you do is, whenever you start playing it, you're very bad at it. Whether it's cricket, whether it's football, you're just a beginner. So you know that you cannot play that game, but since you have an urge to learn that game, what you do is, or you have an interest in that game, you start playing that game. But you do understand that you're consciously incompetent, that you're not able to play that. Now the third stage comes where you're uh, consciously competent. When with practice, what happens is you eventually learn to do things. आपको पता चल जाता है कि मैं ये काम करूंगा तो उसकी आउटकम ये जनरेट होगी, ये काम करूंगा तो उसकी आउटकम ये जनरेट होगी. And the last stage is unconsciously competent. जब आप एक्सेल कर जाते हो और परफेक्शन ले आते हो अपने काम के अंदर, अपने स्किल सेट के अंदर, किसी भी चीज के अंदर, तो उसका इफेक्ट ये होता है कि देन it starts happening on its own. You don't have to put the effort that you normally would, because you're an expert in that field. I'll give the example of driving a car. um, जब आप शुरू में गाड़ी चलाना सीखते हैं या बाइक चलाना सीखते हैं, तो आपको याद रखना पड़ता है, मैंने पहला गियर लगाया, क्लच दबाना है, क्लच दबा के क्लच आहिस्ता आहिस्ता छोड़ना है, और वो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता आपका बाइक या आपकी गाड़ी चलना शुरू कर देती है जब आप उसको एक्सेलरेशन देते हैं. अब जब आप उसको अपनी रूटीन में ले आते हैं, जब आपको 6-8 महीने 2 साल जब आपकी प्रैक्टिस को कुछ टाइम गुजर जाता है, फिर आपको ये नहीं याद रखना पड़ता कि मेरी गाड़ी कौन से गियर में है, मेरा बाइक कौन से गियर में जा रहा है. आपको बाइक की साउंड से पता चल जाता है, और आप उसको इवेंचुअली कंट्रोल कर रहे होते हो थ्रू योर सबकॉन्शियस. तो इट एक्चुअली बिकम्स योर सेकंड नेचर, एंड दैट इज वेयर ड्राइविंग कम्स एज to you as unconsciously competent. It comes as second nature. You don't even कि अगर आपको अल्लाह ना करे कोई किसी मेजर एक्सीडेंट से गुजरना पड़ता है, जिसमें यू आर एबल टू जिसमें आपका ये होता है, आपकी मेमोरी वॉश हो जाती है. In such cases as well, you do not forget a few things, and all of these things are basically related to your second nature. आप कपड़े पहनना नहीं भूलते, आप बात करना नहीं भूलते, जो लैंग्वेजेस आपको आती हैं आप वो नहीं भूलते. um, तो इस तरीके से आप अपने काम में हर इंसान को अल्लाह ताला ने कोई ना कोई हुनर दिया होता है। तो जब वो प्रैक्टिस करता रहता है तो वो इतना ज़्यादा उसमें एक्सेल कर जाता है कि यू बिकम अनकॉन्शियसली कॉम्पिटेंट। So it depends on your efforts, it depends on your practice. You cannot become um, Sachin Tendulkar, I mean, if you don't put in the hours for the practice that he put in. Everyone would like to become, a player like that, or, become best at what they do. But the reason they're not able, and everybody has the potential to do that as well. But the reason they were not able to achieve that is very simple, that they do not put that much hours into their practice. And if you are putting that much hours into the practice with complete focus, dedication, and your best efforts and services, obviously you're going to be achieving that target no matter what. There's nothing special that any professional, any best, I mean, any perfectionist has in their field. So again, there are 4 steps of learning anything. The first step is where you know that you don't know, where you don't even know that you don't know anything, which is called unconsciously incompetent. Then you see something or you generate an idea, you start to see that this can happen. So you are consciously incompetent, where you know that this is doable, but I'm unable to perform it at the moment. So you start learning it, and eventually you start to do that. Whenever you wish to do that, you are able to do that, and that is the stage where you become consciously competent. And when you keep on practicing this stage, eventually you excel in that, and eventually you become unconsciously competent. Anyone having any questions so far? I guess none. So I would like any one of you guys to speak up now, and if you can tell us about I mean, if they can go ahead and revise what we did in the last class, that would be very nice. The ABCs and 7 C's of communication. That's what I'm talking about. मेरी आवाज सबको आ रही है?
यस, आवाज तो आ रही है बिल्कुल।
Exactly, we are listening to your class. Actually, I'm a bit busy in some work, so I could not talk right now.
Okay, no worries.
I can
Anyone
recall
else?
the ABC of communication for you. A was for accuracy, B for brevity, and C for clarity. I guess.
Yep, that's it. That's it. And could you explain as well what these terms actually mean? Just a brief idea.
Accuracy, like ensuring the information is correct and free from errors,
Mm-hmm.
and like fast checking and using reliable sources. Because we are in communication, so we don't have that much of a time.
Okay.
And brevity, meaning thereby keeping the message concise and to the point, and avoiding unnecessary words or details that can clutter the message.
Yep. Saying your thing with minimum words possible.
Yes, exactly. And by clarity, like making sure the message is easy to understand, and use of simple language, and avoid ambiguity.
Exactly. What actually happens is when we are trying to, shorten the conversation, or we're trying to use minimum words possible. So, I mean, we have to use the minimum words possible, but we need to ensure that message is complete. The message that we intend to send to the other party, that's clear cut instruction as well. So when it comes to providing the clarity of the message, we can go ahead and we can add some extra words so that the message is clear. The ambiguity is not there. So I mean that is where we discard the briefness of the message a little bit. We can do that in order to explain or make sure that there is no unambiguous situation present in that case. And
And
while we,
regarding the 7 C's of communication, you said
yep,
it was clear, concise, concrete, correct, coherent, complete, and courteous.
okay, good, good. So you've always, you've noted down almost everything, and
Yes.
I don't know why some other people they're having issues in the meeting. Why they're not able to speak right now, or um, I mean, because if you're able to speak, I guess they should be able to do that as well. And but it's okay. Eventually, they'll start participating. I gave a very small task to the people as well. If anyone can go ahead and tell about the personalities, anyone who inspires them for 5 minutes. I mean, if you cannot talk for 5 minutes, just give it a go, a spontaneous go. So you're able to boost up your confidence, and if you're able and once you're able to do that, eventually nobody's perfect, and I don't expect you to go ahead and take all the time, or I don't expect that you're gonna hit it off for the very first time. But why not give it a try, so that just take it as a boost for your confidence. Anyone who would like to give it a try, that'll be very nice.
I can give it a try with Iqbal, I guess.
Okay,
Worth a try, I guess.
that'll be nice. And you can break down the message into, you can give the introduction, why you chose to talk about him, and in the first 90 seconds, then the messages, or I mean his works in the next 90 seconds, that'll conclude for like 90 seconds. In the next 90 seconds, you're going to go ahead and um, you know um, uh, what you need to do is you wrap up the conversation in that, and in the next 30 seconds, they are additional. So in case you need more time to close things down, you can go ahead and do that as well. That's the basic breakdown of the timing that you can use.
Okay, so Allama Iqbal. Why I choose to talk about Allama Iqbal first thing. So Allama Iqbal was a philosopher, a poet, and a politician in British India, a figure of like immense significance in South Asian history. And I chose to speak about him for several reasons. Like first of all, his influence. I must say, a multifaceted influence. Like Iqbal's work, it is not just like poetry. It is more than that. It has like philosophical depth in it, and political insight, and also a side of religious aspect, where he targeted the Muslims and reminded them about their past glory, and which eventually helped them develop as a nation in the subcontinent, a separate nation in the subcontinent, which was before it was considered that there is no need of a separate country in the subcontinent, and the people were living for like 100 of years together, the Hindus and Muslims. But he made it very clear in his speeches and his writings and his even the address he gave. So yeah, it was like he was like a multi-talented person, and all obviously that's why he's Iqbal. And second thing is like his symbol. He was like a symbol of unity and vision. And often he's like referred to as the poet of the East and Hakimul Ummat, and given with a lot of other titles, because he shaped the Muslim identity, fostering them with like a spirit of unity and ambition. And he was a literal genius. His poetry and was written in not just in Urdu, it was also in Persia. So it created a greater impact on overall, and because of his close contact with the Britishers, and he has spent a lot of time in there as well in the UK. So, and also apart from the struggle he did for a separate country, even from the side of religious aspect, he was like not by his appearance or not by his background, but still he possessed the knowledge of Quran in true letter and spirit, and that he included in his talks and his writings, in his poetry, in his philosophy. And above all, he gave the philosophy of Hudi, like selfhood, which we say. And it presents a like a dynamic framework for self-realization and empowerment. If you study the philosophy of Hudi, you will, no matter from where you belong and what do you believe in, so this is something that is appealing to everyone. So that is why Iqbal is someone I really admire, and I can speak for him at any forum.
Very well versed. I mean, I must say, and there's a great credit that goes into the writings of Iqbal. That is, he basically tried to work on the awakening of the overall Muslim Ummah. His work is not related to just people in the subcontinent. The way he portrayed Islam, and the way he tried to make people understand who we really are, where we started from, and how low we've gotten. Unfortunately, if you look at it, um, if we look at the majority of the cases, is we've not been able to take the message out of those things. Where most of the people they don't even go ahead and give it a read. But I've given some of his poetry a read, and what I've realized is that Iqbal, no doubt, he was an intellectual guy from his era. He spent his educational career in England. Um, so I mean, he got up to date with the knowledge of his time, but he never um, um, for once forgot where he actually started from. He never lost his values and virtues that made him Iqbal. And like you said, the implication of self-awareness and how important it is to understand yourself first. I mean, what you are, how much you're capable of, and to basically identify yourself, because a person who can identify themselves, I mean, they can find the whole universe, because everything, it starts within you, it starts from you, and it is you, because you are defining your own reality, you're shaping your own reality. And the way he portrayed that, the way he expressed it, I mean, that sums up very beautifully, and a very well, I mean, person chosen. Is there anyone else who would like to contribute into any personality they want to talk about? Okay, not a problem. So today, what I intended to discuss was the types of communication skills. There are different types. The first one is verbal, where you're saying the words out, or you're writing them out for the other party. So you verse it out down, and you portray your message to the audience. That's included in verbal. Non-verbal communication um, is quite deep in a sense that um, it focuses on your tonality, it focuses on your body language, it focuses on quite a few factors. The way you say it, because in the end of the day, what it does not matter the words that you're using. What actually matters is the intensity of how you're saying your sentence. That is something that brings life into whatever you're saying, or that is something that gives a strong, if you're able to convey that in a good positive tone, um, people will be more inclined to listen to what you have to offer. Plus, using the right amount of pauses at the right time is very important as well. I guess we just did discuss that. Um, there's a four-word sentence that states "Roko mat jane do." Now, just by using a pause, uh, the sentence actually changes overall. It says "Roko mat jane do." It means stop. Don't let him go. Roko mat jane do. Don't stop. Let him go. So they're the same words, but the pauses given or the way this sentence is delivered, it actually changes whole sense of the sentence. So we need to understand the tonality. We need to use a right amount of pauses, and we need to use, the right amount of stress on if we are talking about something important as well. I mean, if we're talking about something important, we go ahead and put some stress on that word, so that they know, this word has a significance important. For example, if we take an example from the life of the Prophet, whenever he used to stress on something, he would, um, according to the books, he would go ahead and he would say that three times over, so that people around him, they would be all ears, and they would actually come to understand that whatever he's saying right now is very important. So just give me one moment. And the next type of communication, it is basically uh, interpersonal communication as well. This is more related to when you are present in front of the audience. So, if you're not, if they cannot have a look at you, you cannot present. The verbal and non-verbal communication is more than enough. But if you're facing an audience, if you're in a presentation, or if you're probably having a session of a stand-up comedy, or probably a session of maybe initiating a class, or anywhere where you have to talk upfront. There are multiple factors that are included in that as well. The first thing is your body language, the way you pose yourself, the posture. It shows a lot of things. The way you carry yourself, the way you use hand gestures. It it gives a significant, I must say, value to whatever you are saying. For example, when I was used to train people in a call center, um, what people used to do was, while talking with a customer, um, they would simply go ahead and talk in a very, they would be reading the same sentence, but in a very monotonous way. Hello, my name is this. I'm calling from this. How are you? I mean, but they would not get a good response off of it. Why? because nobody likes to talk to a guy who actually is actually showing that he's able to read. He's just going ahead and reading a page for you. You love to interact with people who are trying to have a lively or engage, conversation where they're engaging with you personally, rather than going ahead and reading something out for you. Probably we don't like some of our leaders because of this reading habit as well, because it's very important for us to be spontaneous. So it gives a very bad impression if you're reading from a paper. So whether you're reading from a paper, I mean, I don't mind that. I mean, or it should not make a difference. But the way you portray yourself, it says a lot. I would say the same sentence again. Hey, my name is Fahad. I'm calling from company ABC. How you doing? Tonality changed. When I asked them how they are, I mean, I sounded a bit concerned as well, and it sounded like I'm asking them something. And if somebody is not able to understand or comprehend anything, you can immediately stop me, and I'll go ahead, and if need be, I can explain these things in Urdu as well. If that is the mode of communication, if that is where we need to start, because I do understand. हमको अंग्रेज नहीं है, but we were teaching in English because that's the foreign language, that's the international language जो आजकल follow हो रही है. So since the plus point is that I understand Urdu, and most of the people, in fact everybody over here, they do understand that as well. So yes, we'll be working on the delivery of speech, and we'll be working on the other things. But if you, in case you have to say something out, um, say it out in any language that I can comprehend. Um, so you can basically start from somewhere, and then eventually we'll keep on working on it. And most of the people that come over here, I see. I mean, they don't have no problems except for their confidence, or they are a bit shy to speak English. So I mean, that's the only thing that you need to get rid of. And it's not difficult to do that. It's just that you need to train your mind to do things, and it will eventually start happening for you guys. So interpersonal skills में ये चीज भी आती है कि how well you're dressed, um, um, and how you carry the conversation that you're in. Um, so these are the things that normally you need to take care of while having a conversation. And if you're able to work on them one piece at a time, obviously your communication is going to get better and better by every single day. I mean, as every day passes by. Anything that anyone has not been able to comprehend so far?
So far, so good, sir.
Lovely, lovely. So I'd basically like, except for you, Sadambi, I mean, if anyone else can interact with the class, I mean, if they're okay, I'd like them to put their input into the class as well, because in the end of the day, I mean, um, if it's just me speaking, obviously I can do that. I don't mind that. But eventually, it will take you a lot of time in order to bring betterment in your communication. And I did give a very good advice. If you can implement that, the language that you're trying to learn, start thinking in that language. It will give you two benefits at the first at start. The first thing is your brain, it does not have to process a lot of information, because वो ट्रांसलेशन के झंझट में नहीं पड़ेगा आपका दिमाग. पहली चीज तो ये हो जाएगी कि आपने अगर इंग्लिश में एक सेंटेंस बोलना है, तो आप सबसे पहले देखो इसको इंग्लिश में क्या कहते हैं. तो आपको इस झंझट से निकल जाएंगे, तो आपके लिए आसानी हो जाएगी. सेकंड थिंग इज कि आपकी आहिस्ता आहिस्ता फिलर वर्ड्स भी आहिस्ता आहिस्ता खत्म होना शुरू हो जाते हैं, एज सून एज यू आर एबल टू understand the tonality, and as soon as you're able to understand how to use your uh, words properly. Everyone, I mean, nobody has all of the Oxford Dictionary memorized. um, but it's just the words that you have encountered so far, how you sum them up, how you फिर यहाँ पे coherence की बात दोबारा आएगी कि how you structure the sentence that you are going to deliver is what matters more. And you don't have to talk in a very fast way. Take your time, take right amount of pauses. It shows more confidence in your conversation. It shows that we're talking with someone जिसके अंदर तहम्मुल मजाजी है, um, और जिसने अपना होमवर्क पूरा किया हुआ है इस जुबान के ऊपर, जिसको एक अबूर हासिल है. दो चीजें होती है ना, या तो आपका होमवर्क कंप्लीटली पूरा हो कि you have all of the knowledge that as humans that we cannot possess. The other thing is you portray yourself, you act in a way that you know everything, or I mean you can handle the situation. First thing is you start believing I can do that. That is where the process starts, because आप अगर आइडिया ही जनरेट नहीं करेंगे कि मेरे से तो ये कर ही नहीं सकता, फिर तो आप अनकॉन्शियसली इनकॉम्पिटेंट ही रहेंगे कि हो ही नहीं सकता. लेकिन आप अगर कहते हैं कि नहीं, दिस इज डूएबल, ओके, if this is doable, let me do it. If this is doable, I should be the one doing it. If he can do it, I can do that too. Allah has blessed them, all of us, I mean, with same amount of brains, um, same amount of energy, और हर चीज अल्लाह ताला ने सबको, सब इंसान अल्लाह की नजर में बराबर हैं. लेकिन इंसान को अल्लाह कहता है कि हम आपको फिर वही इनायत करते हैं जिसके लिए आप कोशिश करते हो. मफहूम ये बनता है इस बात का कि इंसान को वही मिलता है जिसके लिए वो कोशिश करता है. तो वट एवर यू स्ट्राइव फॉर, यू इवेंचुअली गोना गेट इट. But it depends on how focused, how motivated, and how eagerly you were um, um, willing to go ahead and achieve the milestone that you had an urge for. कि आपके अंदर ईगरनेस कितनी थी, आप कितना सीखना चाहते थे उस चीज को. जब आप अपने अंदर ईगरनेस रखेंगे, और हम अपनी आयतों को खोल खोल कर बयान करते हैं ताकि समझने वाले अकल हासिल करें, ताकि अकल वाले समझें, तो आयतें समझ आ जाती हैं. लेकिन किसको समझ आती हैं? कि पहली चीज है कि वो जो समझने के लिए बैठा हुआ है. इफ यू आर गोइंग ओवर देयर टू क्वेश्चन थिंग्स, तो फिर आपको वो क्वेश्चन या क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग तो बहुत सारी दे देगा, बट आपको फिर शायद वो जिस समझ ना आए कि वो आपने उस चीज को कैसे इंप्लीमेंट करना है अपनी प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ के दौरान. तो जब आप समझने के लिए कुछ चीज करते हैं तो इवेंचुअली आपको समझ आ जाती है. Our brains, they can contain every sort of answers. We just need to feed them with the right questions. So that's a bit of revision from the last class as well. And I guess that's about it. And for today's class, and today we'll start the class at 4. It would be good if we can have more people. But even, I mean, if it is one person joining, I want you guys to start interacting within the class. क्लास में जितना आपका इंटरेक्शन होगा उतना ज्यादा ही आपके लिए लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंस होगा. Every one of us is a student over here, and I want everyone to participate, because when you're going to participate, that is where you're going to start your learning journey. Go ahead, give it a go. And worst case scenario is that it will be a failure, right? Somebody asked Hazrat Ali on how to succeed. He said you succeed through your experiences. And then he was asked, I mean, how do you gain experience? You gain your experience from the failures that you face. If you're not going to fail, the difference between succeeding in something is, it's very simple. You keep on trying, and when it happens, you're successful and you get a win. Rest of the times you're going to fail. But I mean, if you have not faced failure in life, how can you get the or enjoy the perks of a win. आप अगर आपने किसी चीज में लैक नहीं किया तो फिर आपको उसका वो मजा नहीं आएगा ना जब आपको वो चीज गेन हो जाएगी. जब आप फेल कर करके या एफर्ट करके कोई चीज सीखते हो ना तो दैट इज वेयर यू आर प्राउड ऑफ योर सेल्फ. यस, दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई बॉट फॉर माई सेल्फ. दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई वर्कड फॉर. Nobody gave it to me. This is my own doing. Yes, I am blessed by Allah for this thing because I struggled for it. आप 4 साल की डिग्री करते हो, you go to the institution every single day and you put in the amount of hours into every single class. That is when the organization, they provide you with the paper at the end of the degree. When you successfully, achieve your grades, whatever the grade marking system of the institution is. But if you don't even give it a shot, obviously you're never going to get that piece of paper. So in order to get a learning experience, the first thing is you start interacting within the sessions. And again, in any language that you guys can do that. I mean, Urdu mein bhi karenge to we don't mind that. It's just that you need to portray an idea, and um, eventually you'll start talking in English as well. But you're not never going to be able to do that if you don't even give it a shot, if you don't even try. So the first process is to give it a go, give it a try, and things that they'll start happening. And this is something that we'll be discussing tomorrow, but I'm giving you an overview of that. um, any language that you're learning, it basically has a few steps um, that you need to go through in order to to excel in that language. The first is you go ahead and you start listening to a language. You surround your environment with that language. आपने इंग्लिश सीखनी है, surround yourself with English. First listen, and once you're able to understand listening, then you go ahead and read it. आप उसके phonetics समझते हो और उसको पढ़ना शुरू करते हो जुबान को. After readings come writing, and after writing comes the next process, which is speaking. Speaking is the last part. So you're listening to English. I mean, we cannot go ahead and write anything here. That's understandable. Um, we cannot read anything here, but I mean, you can do that um, in your at your own times. But I mean, whatsoever you're reading, whatsoever you're writing, implement that in your life. कोई भी ऐसा knowledge जिसकी practical implementation नहीं है, it's of no use. It's a wastage of time. अगर आपने जिंदगी में कभी जो भी आपने नॉलेज हासिल किया है, अगर आपने उसका इस्तेमाल ही नहीं करना, तो फिर वो आप अपना टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हैं आप, क्योंकि उस नॉलेज की प्रैक्टिकल इम्प्लीकेशन आपकी लाइफ में है ही नहीं. तो ट्राई टू ब्रिंग इम्प्लीकेशंस ऑफ whatever you learn in your lifestyle, and when you start doing that, eventually things, they will start to pay off, and you will be working on your betterment every single day. And it's a journey, it's an ongoing process. You will never be a know-it-all, but I mean, does not mean that you stay among the bottom liners. So by progressing every single day, by working every single day, you can at least compete with the other people that are surrounding the class. And if I can do that, you guys can be able to do that as well. It's not a rocket science. Speaking English, it's not a qualification, it's an art. So an artist is a guy, who puts fruition into his homework, into his tasks. Um, everyone, they have got a different art. Some people, they do poetry. Some people, they paint. Some people, they draw. So it just depends on how you use your knowledge into your life, and how you use those sentences in your daily life routine. And once you start doing that, once you get rid of that shyness, eventually you'll be bringing betterment as each day passes. All good, everyone? So we'll conclude our session for today, and tomorrow we'll be starting at 4. It'll be good if we can have more people, but I mean, even if we are the same lot of people that we have right now, inshallah, let's talk tomorrow. And Saima, आप भूल गई थी तो आप, I mean, you can prepare your meeting for tomorrow. I mean, Joe, whatever you had to say, I mean, you can get it done tomorrow as well. Um, it's just that anytime you need to interact in the class, जब भी आपने interact करना है, जो भी आपने कहना है, just go ahead and say it. Just get yourself involved in the conversation and start building the conversations. जो आपकी इनसिक्योरिटी है, जो आपकी जो प्रॉब्लम्स फेस कर रहे हैं, कोई भी प्रॉब्लम है ना, जब आपकी लाइफ में कोई प्रॉब्लम आती है तो फर्स्ट थिंग व्हाट यू डू इज यू आइडेंटिफाई द प्रॉब्लम. आपको पता तो होना कि मसला क्या आ रहा है आपके साथ. एंड वंस यू हैव आइडेंटिफाइड द प्रॉब्लम, यू राइट इट डाउन. जब आपने उसको लिख लिया ना अपने पूरे प्रॉब्लम को, 50% ऑफ द मैटर इज सॉर्टेड आउट. आपका आधा मसला वहीं पे क्लियर हो गया व्हेन यू आर एबल टू राइट द प्रॉब्लम यू आर फेसिंग डाउन. And then rest of the 50% is where you're finding the solution. प्रॉब्लम आ गया तो उसके ऊपर परेशान हो सकते हैं कि यार ये मसला आ गया, तो अब अगर मसले में ही फंसे रहेंगे तो फिर मतलब उसका कोई फायदा नहीं है, क्योंकि वो मसला तो आ चुका हुआ है. लेकिन उससे अगर हमने नेक्स्ट प्रोसेस पे जाना है तो जो भी मसला आ रहा है उसके सोल्यूशन के ऊपर जाएंगे. विल फिगर आउट अ वे ऑन हाउ टू गेट रिड ऑफ दैट सिचुएशन और हाउ टू सॉल्व द रिडल दैट हैज बीन पुट इन फ्रंट ऑफ अस. जो भी हमारा मसला आ रहा है उसके सोल्यूशन में पड़ जाएंगे. पहले हम आइडेंटिफिकेशन of the problem, clear cut identification कि what exactly is the problem that I am facing. And once you're able to identify the problem, as soon as you realize कि भाई मेरा problem ये है, the next thing that you move to is find the solution for that problem. And I always ask Allah for guidance. Always ask Allah. Even कि मूसा अलैहिस्सलाम की भी दुआ ये है कि या अल्लाह मेरी जुबान में लकनत है, तो मतलब अल्लाह ताला से उन्होंने अपने भाई का साथ मांगा. और अल्लाह ताला से आप दुआ भी किया करें कि या अल्लाह मेरे इल्म में इजाफा फरमा, रब्बी ज़िदनी इल्मा. और because in the end of the day he is the one who blesses with knowledge. हिकमत जो है वो अल्लाह की तरफ से ही होती है, तो उसे मांगेंगे तो वो दे देगा आपको. इट्स जस्ट दैट जो वो देता रहे उसको फिर आप जब इस्तेमाल करेंगे. इल्म ऐसी चीज है कि जब आप उसको बांटते हैं तो वो बढ़ता रहता है. जो इल्म आपके पास है, अगर उसको आप अपने पास तक अपनी हद तक महदूद रखेंगे, वो इल्म आपके साथ खत्म हो जाएगा, दफन हो जाएगा. देयर इज नो हिब्रू, देयर इज नो लैटिन. People could not transfer that. The more you spread, इल्म की खूबसूरती यही है कि जितना बांटोगे उतना ज्यादा वो फैलता जाएगा. तो keep on spreading what Allah has blessed you with, and eventually you'll be gaining more off of that. जिस तरह रिस्क की फरावानी सखावत में है. आप जितने सखी होगे आपका उतनी वसअत बढ़ती जाएगी आपकी मतलब माल में. अब वो आप सखावत अगर नॉलेज में देते हैं तो आपका नॉलेज बढ़ता जाएगा. वो सखावत आप किसी की हेल्प करने में देते हैं, वो बढ़ती रहेगी. इट डिपेंड्स ऑन व्हाट यू आर ऑफरिंग द अदर पीपल. it does not have to be tangible all the time. It can be a service that you're doing. किसी को कुरान पढ़ा दिया. So serve the humanity in any possible way, and eventually it will come to you as well. जानवरों को पालें मिसाल के तौर पे, you will learn from them the way they show gratitude towards Allah after having their food. You'll be blessed and you'll be amazed कि आपने अगर कभी जानवर पाले हो, बकरियां आप पालें, वो अपना जब खाना खा लेंगे, अपना वो जब उनको वंडा कहते हैं हम लोग, तो जब वो वंडा अपना खत्म करेंगे, they'll bow down. सर झुकाएंगे, सर झुका के अल्लाह की तरफ देखेंगे, उसका शुक्र अदा करेंगे, फिर जिसने खाना दिया है उसका शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं. दे लव देयर ओनर। वो आके जिस तरीके से आपके पास आते हैं, यू एक्चुअली फील कि मतलब he's showing gratitude, is thank you for that we offered them the food. So this way you learn from things. I mean, non-living. I mean, not just human beings, but you can learn from anything. It just depends on आपने अपना कासा खाली कितना रखा हुआ है, आपने अपने प्याले में जगह कितनी रखी हुई है, in order for the other things to be put in there. तो जितना बड़ा कासा करेंगे, जितना कशकोल अपना अच्छा रखेंगे, इल्म के लिहाज से, always be ready to learn new things, and once you're able to once you're willing to learn, Allah will bless you with knowledge. Allah आपको वहां से देगा कि जहां से आपको गुमान भी नहीं होगा। बस अपने एंटीने जो है वो अल्लाह की तरफ मंसूब करें। और इट इज हिज वो अल्लाह का फजल है, और वो अल्लाह जितना फजल होगा, जितना आपकी वो कर सकते होंगे, या जितने की आपकी बारी होगी, he'll be blessing you with that. So that's about it for today.